Nigerian Army pardons new batch of over 200 Boko Haram fighters and families. The Nigerian Army has stated that it received a fresh batch of over 200 repentant Boko Haram fighters and their family members in clearance operations on Saturday and Sunday in Borno State. The Army High Command noted that a total of 186 Boko Haram terrorists surrendered on Saturday, led by their Emir Maini Aga to troops of Operation Hadinkai at the forward operational base in Ajiri. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the military received 33 additional Boko Haram fighters from Landanli, Azar, and other villages who surrendered to own troops of 151 Task Force Battalion Banki Junction in Bama. The Director, Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Onwachukwu stated these in a release on Monday obtained by Sahara reporters despite the outcries and widespread of condemnation that greeted the exercise. Many Nigerians have called for the due prosecution of the former fighters instead of a blanket pardon and rehabilitation with taxpayers' money. The Army spokesman in a release said, following the recent unprecedented and massive surrendering of Boko Haram terrorists in Bama operational area between August 2nd and 4th, there has been confusion and severe apprehension in the camps of the Islamic State of West Africa province, especially amongst its top-ranking commanders, over the depleting strength of its members, which has drastically dwindled their overall fighting efficiency. It is against this backdrop that the terrorist group opted for the use of propaganda via AMAQ terrorist media wing, with the aim to portray the group as if it is still a potent force in the northeast. The current trend of operation in their camps was further aggravated by the recent alarming turn out of members of the terrorist group who came out in droves with their families to lay down their arms and surrender to own troops at Mafa local government area on 14th of August. A total of 186 Boko Haram terrorist members led by their Emir Mayaga, comprising of 67 adult males, 54 adult females, and 65 children surrendered to the troops of Operation Adinkai. So we've already been through that. We've been to the key information about this. I'm again, of course, it's never ever justified. I think what makes this complicated is that, well, up to now, I never really knew that, these people had families with them. And of course, these could be families with the Chibok girls that have been kidnapped. This family was probably not even made out of, ideal and genuine circumstances. So, for the fact that there are children involved, it's not like, okay, fine, if you want to try try the fathers, well, we're going to have a lot of kids fatherless, but then it's like, but they have to face the time though, because they are a hazard to society. Like, for now, they are fresh out of a terrorist organization. They are very much a hazard, even more than a hazard to society, because that does not make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. And then I think it's a different thing. Okay, fine, you don't really see them, but then you're asking Nigerians to forgive them, and because you're asking Nigerians to forgive them because you want to put them back into society. Now that is very rude. That is very rude and disrespectful, because you're basically trivializing the trauma that Nigerians have gone through in the hands of these people. And in my opinion, this would even cause more of a clash, because trust, people will know. People will definitely know that this person was a part of this and a part of that. There will most likely be killings, unprecedented killings of the wives and the children, if not even the Boko Haram ex-Boko Haram members, or however they choose to call them. If not that they would get killed, it will probably be their wife and the kids, and it will become a huge clash, and no one is going to forgive. You know what I mean? I think right now they're getting too confident, or because they surrendered in droves, that gives Obviously, yes, of course, if they're falling off with such high numbers, well, it's not even high, 67. We don't even know what the total is. But yeah, I understand what they mean by the overall fighting efficiency and capacity, of course, drops as well. But I don't think it's anything that the country has to celebrate about yet. If anything, they should strategize and use the same people to curb insecurity finally and get terrorists out of the country. Out. Finally, if they were smart, they would do that. They would get information, retrieve information, and use that to their advantage to actually go in there and fight more. That would make more sense. But then trying to reintegrate them, give them, because again, it's like by this argument, then Igbo and Nnamdi should not be jailed. The GSS, like what you call it, IPOB needs to be allowed. Like a lot of things need to be allowed to run, because you can't be one-sided. In this case, absolutely not. Sure, it has to be granted some sort of apology. Like a lot of things then have to happen, because this, like, I'm so sorry. I mean, do you know what? Which is the most hypocritical that can actually work in this situation, where things have to be reversed? Is basically the prescription of IPOD, because really and truly, they're prescribed a terrorist group, but then are they gonna give them, some forgiveness package so that they can be reintegrated back into society? Exactly, it's not gonna happen. So it doesn't make sense. Someone says gradually a place Nigeria is going to end. It's going to an end. It's already at an end. We're under the graph. We're in minus. It ended in 2015. That's it. It ended in 2015. The country was absolutely horrible then. It was more like, what could go wrong, or how bad could Nigeria really go? And then Mr. Buhari was like, watch me. It will shock you. And yes, it shocked us. And this is what is happening. So again, it's like Nigeria's already ended. We're operating on vibes. Nigeria is highly volatile right now. Anything can trigger Nigeria, serve as a catalyst, and there's a clash. So we have just got to be careful. And if anything, right now the North needs to step up. All these dormant nature kind of thing doesn't apply. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. And do not forget to like and subscribe.